Mecca, 1979. Gunfire echoes across the marble courtyard of the Holy Kaaba. Armed militants have seized the most sacred sanctuary of Islam. For Saudi Arabia, it was nothing short of an apocalypse. For the Muslim world, a moment of shock and disbelief. But in the midst of that darkness, a response was forged. Saudi forces, reinforced by Pakistani SSG commandos and advised by foreign specialists, launched a grueling operation. For days, bullets rang out under the shadows of the Kaaba. Lives were lost, blood was spilled, and finally, the house of God was freed from the grasp of the insurgents. That day marked a turning point. The military bond between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia was sealed not just in diplomacy, but in sacrifice. It became a relationship written in blood, trust, and faith. In the decades that followed, this bond only deepened. Saudi soldiers trained in Pakistani academies. Joint military exercises became routine. Riyadh stepped forward to stabilize Pakistan in moments of financial crisis, while Islamabad provided military expertise during periods of regional tension. It was a partnership forged at the intersection of defense, economy, and devotion. And then came 17th September 2025. In the Royal Palace of Riyadh, a document was placed on the table that would alter the trajectory of history. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signed the Strategic Mutual Defense Agreement, the SMDA. The declaration was simple yet monumental. An attack on one would be considered an attack on both. Agreements of this kind are rare in modern geopolitics. Most exist only under the umbrella of NATO or with the United States at their core. But this was different. For the first time, two Muslim powers had institutionalized their alliance into a binding treaty. What had long been cooperation was now irreversible reality. Global media called it a watershed moment, one that would reshape the politics and security architecture of the entire region for decades to come. And crucially, this was not a reaction to a single event. It was the outcome of years of deliberation. In Riyadh's corridors of power, the question had long been asked: how to build a more comprehensive and reliable framework for the future. On 17th September, that vision was made real. The cautious tone of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman at the Arab Summit, followed by the dramatic announcement 2 days later, was not coincidence. It was the culmination of years of quiet strategic planning. The world took notice. Reuters described it as a comprehensive defense agreement spanning all military domains. Al Jazeera called it the next step in a decades-long security partnership, a watershed moment for Saudi-Iran tensions and Israeli aggression. The Financial Times underlined, this is a defense pact between Saudi Arabia and a nuclear-armed Pakistan. Bloomberg labeled it a shift in the geopolitical balance of the region. The Washington Post noted a Saudi strategy to reduce dependence after Doha was attacked. CNN called it a response to weakening US commitments. For India, the shock was profound. New Delhi had invested decades in cultivating ties with Riyadh and Abu Dhabi, securing oil deals, channeling investments, even conducting joint naval drills. But 17th September overturned all of that. The Indian Foreign Ministry's only statement was, "We are monitoring the situation." Diplomatic language, but in reality, nothing left to say. India could not confront Saudi Arabia. nor could it recycle its traditional hardline rhetoric against Pakistan. Israel too was unsettled. Prime Minister Netanyahu mentioned Pakistan 3 times in a single month, despite no direct conflict existing. But Tel Aviv understood, if Riyadh and Islamabad consolidated this partnership, Israel's strategic maneuvering space would shrink dramatically. That is why voices are asking, is this the first step towards a Muslim NATO? And yet, the agreement is not offensive in design. It is not a war plan. It is a peace-oriented framework, one of deterrence. For India, it sends a simple message. Any reckless adventure will no longer be cost-free. The SMDA also highlights a wider truth: multilateralism. Pakistan today stands at the fulcrum of balance. States across regions increasingly view Islamabad as a center point for stability. India has tried to portray this as a bloc: Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, China, and possibly Turkey. But reality is different. This is not bloc politics. Field Marshal Asim Muni's meeting with the US President and Washington's decision to invest in Pakistan's mineral sector demonstrate that even the United States sees opportunity here, not confrontation. And beyond defense, the agreement carries deep economic and human dimensions. Millions of Pakistanis live and work in Saudi Arabia. Their security and welfare are now tied to this framework. The kingdom's influence ensures that no state, not even India, will dare to destabilize these bonds. Most of all, the pact carries spiritual weight. For Pakistan, this is not just military honor, but sacred responsibility. The principles of the Holy Prophet and the ideals of the state of Medina have always guided Pakistan's vision. The nation has shed blood in defense of Islam, justice, and the oppressed. Today, that duty extends to the protection of the Haramain, the 2 holy mosques. To attack Pakistan now would not be an attack on one state alone. It would be an attack on the guardians of the Kaaba and the Prophet's mosque. That is why, for extremists and hostile powers, this treaty is more than politics. It is destiny they cannot accept. In 1979, Pakistani soldiers helped liberate the Kaaba from insurgents. 46 years later, that history has been transformed into a binding alliance. For Pakistan, it is an honor. For Saudi Arabia, it is assurance. For the Muslim world, it is a moment of pride. 17th September 2025, Riyadh. A day that marks a turning point. A day when politics, power, and security in the region changed forever.